Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Off the Bench podcast. I'm Robert Sellers. Tonight, we're talking about the Oregon-Texas Tech game. We're going to look at some film, preview, breakdown, some of the things that both of these teams do well, some things that they both struggle with, some things that, one team can take advantage of the other with, matchups and whatnot. I'm really excited to talk about it. I think this is one of the most intriguing matchups of the quarterfinal round, so can't wait to break it down. I'm not going to waste much time. I know it's been a while since I posted a video. I've had holiday stuff to keep me busy with, and I'm a little under the weather right now, so I apologize ahead of time if I sneeze or cough or if I sound sick or anything like that. But nothing is going to hold us back from talking some ball because we got some big college football playoff games coming up soon, and I'm not just going to sit on the sideline and watch. I mean, if you think that's what I'm going to do, you're wrong. You're just completely wrong. I hope all of y'all are having a great holiday season. I hope all of y'all are keeping in mind the true meaning of Christmas. And I hope you're having a good time with your family and watching some sports. I had a good time watching some sports today with a big time Texans W. I'm not going to show any personal bias when I'm talking about college football and college basketball. I'm going to be as neutral as I possibly can be. But when it comes to the NFL and the NBA, I am going to just be the biggest Texans and Rockets fan ever. I'm from Houston. Texas just clinched the playoffs. We're going to the Super Bowl. It's happening. We are going to the Super Bowl, and the Rockets are going to the NBA Finals. And I don't care. I don't care about the Thunder. I don't care about the Broncos, the Patriots, or whatever you have to say. It's happening. With that being said, we're going to talk about what's really important here, and that is the Texas Tech versus Oregon game. And we're going to start right here with Texas Tech's defense. So I think what Texas Tech's defense gets a lot of credit for is their linebackers and their edge rushers, being Jacob Rodriguez, Ben Roberts, and those guys are phenomenal. Jacob Rodriguez was nearly a Heisman finalist. He's incredible, and we're going to talk about him in the podcast today also. And the edge rushers are insane too. David Bailey and the Georgia Tech transfer, what's his name? Romello Height. Those guys are both freaks, 100%. But I feel like a really underappreciated part of what makes this Texas Tech defense so great, especially when it comes to stopping the run, are their D tackles. Like their D tackles get in work. These guys are big, they're fast, they got great hands, they're taught and they're coached really well. I really like the defensive tackles on Texas Tech, especially Lee Hunter. He's a UCF transfer. He's going to make a couple plays here that I'm going to highlight. He's big number 2. You can see him. He's lined up just over BYU's right guard on this play. And BYU is going to be working QB power with Bear Bachmeier.
Down the field.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me mute this. And Bear Bachmeier is simply going to have nowhere to go because Lee Hunter is shedding blocks. Now that is just what this guy is going to do. If you watch it again, number 2, he's in like a 2-eye technique right now. He's going to shed that light guard and make that play. So Oregon predicates a lot of what they want to do off the run game, and they do it a lot differently than BYU does. So it's not exactly apples to apples. But Lee Hunt, if Oregon wants to solidify a strong run game, at least between the tackles, they're going to have to work through Lee Hunter, and that is a really, really hard thing to do. And I'm really excited to see how Oregon's offensive line matches up with a guy like Lee Hunter. Are they going to be able to contain him? Is Hunter going to be able to get off blocks and make plays? Who knows? This is going to be another play. This is BYU is running read option on this play. I think this is legitimately the best I've ever seen a read option defended in my entire life. Like legitimately, they do such a good job defending this. First of all, Lee Hunter, once again, number 2, he's lined up at nose tackle right over the center. He's going to get uphill so fast. And when you can get uphill so fast like that, it sort of blows up any play. But in addition to Lee Hunter just getting straight up field, you're also going to see Romello Height, number 9, at the bottom of your screen. He's going to play both the quarterback and the running back. And then the Jacob Rodriguez, the front side inside linebacker, is going to wrap around so well to defend this. So you can just watch it in real time. It is the most beautiful defensive play I've ever seen against a read option. You see Lee Hunter gets upfield in the second when they snap it. So he's getting upfield and creating all that mush in the middle of the play. It's really hard to get around that. And then Romello Heights is doing a great job chopping his feet and guarding both the running back and the quarterback, making it a tough decision for Bear Bachmeier. And then he decides to pull it, and Jacob Rodriguez is right there to make the play along with Romello Height. This Texas Tech front seven is elite. There is no other way around it. They are one of the most elite front sevens in the field of play right now. They are so, so good. It's why this defense has been elite. I don't necessarily think their secondary is the greatest ever. They've got a lot of big guys back there, but I don't think it's the best secondary in the play. Their front seven is phenomenal, like top to bottom. They are all so good, and this is another reason why. I mean, they stay to their assignments. They stick to their responsibilities. They play smart. They play as a unit, and they make plays. It's that simple. Even a play like this. Watch 18. But this is not Romello Height. This is not David Bailey. This is not one of their main big time pass rushers. But he is going to make such a good play. So BYU is running like a sweep to the right. They're going to pull two. Gosh, voice crack. They're going to pull two blockers to the right side, and 18 is just going to like duck under both of them and make a play on the ball carrier. Like, watch this. He just ducks under both of those guys and makes, like, this Texas Tech front seven is so good. That's basically what I'm trying to show you right now. And this is the game that they played against their most recent Power 5 opponent or Power 4 opponent. And it's just what their defense has been doing all year long. And it's definitely highlighted in this matchup against BYU. They just make plays from top to bottom at every single positional level. Whether it's edge rushers stepping up and helping in the run game, whether it's defensive tackles blowing up almost every play, or whether it's linebackers knowing their responsibility, watching film, and being just on time and doing their jobs. This front seven is dominant. And here's another example. Right after this play, you can watch number 51. I mean, he's lined up right over the center. Again, 51 is not one of their like main starting defensive tackles. On this play, he's just gonna rip right through the center and make a play on the running back. I mean, their big time defensive tackles, I think, are so underrated. When I hear people talking about Texas Tech, it's either about how good their running backs are, however good Baron Morton is, or however good their edge rushers and their linebackers are. I don't hear anyone ever talking about their defensive tackles. And when I went back and I watched this Texas Tech BYU game, and listen, I'm a little guilty for not watching all of Texas Tech football games this year. I watched part of the Arizona State game where they lost. I watched most of the Utah game, and I watched the BYU games. But other than that, I didn't watch much Texas Tech. I'm sorry. I get it. I understand. But hey, Texas Tech is beating everybody by 20 points. I'm not necessarily going to want to go watch that. And I'm assuming that a lot of y'all might not have watched a lot of Texas Tech either. You know, you might be fans of the Big Ten or the SEC or wherever, and you might not have necessarily been really tuned in on this Red Raiders football team. But I'm here to tell you that one thing they do really, really well is shed blocks. You know, their big guys they're agile, they're really, really good, and they make plays like this. I mean, it is so hard to run the ball when you got a big man like 51 just throwing your center away and making a play on the ball carrier. You're not going to be able to run the football against skill like that. And I'm not saying that BYU's offensive line is better than Oregon's. I don't think it is. But Oregon's offensive line is not perfect. That is definitely not true. But they are really, really talented and skilled. So that's actually the next thing we're going to talk about. In Oregon's most recent game against the Power 4 opponent, no shade towards James Madison. I love the James Madison Dukes. I was cheering my butt off for James Madison. I love that team. But that is not a fair comparison. Texas Tech and James Madison are just completely different teams talent-wise. This is the most recent game that Oregon has played against a comparable opponent, and that is the Washington Huskies. And we're focusing on the offensive line on this play, specifically number 74, the left guard, I believe, is number 74. And Oregon's going to be running duo. They run a lot of duo, and they run a lot of counter from what I watched from this football game. And again, same sort of thing with Oregon. I'm a little guilty of not watching all of Oregon's football games this year. I watched most of the Penn State game, although I was in attendance for the Alabama-Georgia game, so I wasn't really that dialed in. Can you blame me? And then I also watched the USC game. I did watch that, and the Indiana game. Shout out my Hoosiers, man, getting a big time dub in that game. No one's talking about it, but the Hoosiers are awesome. I'm sorry, I can't go a full episode without shouting out Indiana, my boy Kurt Signetti, my boy Charlie B. Anyway, 1st and 10. Oregon's working duo. You're going to see 74. Get him some work, and then work up and collect that linebacker. You see 74? You see how he collects that linebacker? That's what produces this big-time game. Or not a big-time game, but you know what I'm saying. Actually, wait a second. Was I highlighting the wrong guy there? Let me go back and watch this once again. Oh, no, I was talking about the right guy. Yeah, 74 is just moving people. That's what we do. We move people. So that's a good highlight from Oregon. But then the very next highlight I'm going to show you, number 74, fails to collect the defensive tackle on this play. I believe Oregon is working. They're working duo again. And 74, listen. Watch the middle of this play. The center and number 74 are working up. They're double teaming the defensive tackle that's right over the ball, and then working up to that linebacker. And the center's going to do a great job getting hands on the defensive tackle right there. He's got hands on the defensive tackle, and then he's working up to that first linebacker. But if we're the right guard, if we're 74, we gotta move ourselves to the left and collect that defensive tackle that our center is about to let go of. And instead of doing that, you see how the center, he's already working up. He's got eyes on the middle linebacker. 74 is just going to get swept off his feet, and then his guy's going to make the tackle. So listen, I know it's really picky, and this is a 3-yard game from Oregon, but I just showed you how strong and how dominant and how good Texas Tech's D-line is. If we're playing like this, Oregon, against Texas Tech, if we're failing to collect, if we're letting our double teams go, if we're playing lazy football in the interior, Lee Hunter and Texas Tech's front seven is going to shred us. That is what is going to happen in this game. So I think a lot of what's going to decide if Oregon can run the ball or not. Can they run their duo? Can they run their counter? Well, a lot of it depends on if their guards and their center can handle the dominance from Texas Tech's D line. I'm really excited to watch that because I honestly don't know which way it's going to go. But there's also a lot of confusion sometimes with this Texas or with this Oregon run game. I think they're running some weird version of counter here. They're going to pull 3 guys. They're going to pull the guard, the tight end, and this fullback, I guess is what you would call that position right now. And I think that's Kenyon Sadiq playing fullback right now. Sadiq is so good. I'm going to talk about him in a minute. But on this play, you have 3 guys picking up the same assignment. You're trying to put 3 square pegs in one hole. That's not how it works. And because of the, you see the 3 pulling guys, they all go to block the same dude. That is not how football works, ladies and gentlemen. It is hat on a hat is how football works. And right now we got 3 hats on 1 hat. And what does that mean if you got 3 hats on 1 hat? It means there's a free hat. And it means that we're going to get a rushing yard or a rushing play for 1 yard. So we cannot do that against Texas Tech. They are too athletic. They are too skilled. And if we got 3 guys on 1 hat blocking out there on counter, we're not going to be able to run the football. And if we can't run the football, we put all the pressure on my boy Divine Dante, who we're going to talk about in a minute. But you don't ever want all pressure on a quarterback because that is not a recipe for success in the sweet, sweet game of football. Next play we're going to talk about is, okay, so 72 and 75. We're running the ball here with 8:43 to go in the 4th quarter. And 92, you see 92, he's lining up over the center and the left guard here. He's going to make both of them miss and make this tackle. We get 2 chances to block 92 on this play for Oregon. Let's watch it play out. We get 1 chance right there, 2 chances right there. Neither of those guys do anything, and 92 makes the play. Texas Tech is too good, okay? Texas Tech is too good for this effort. This is poor effort on the half of the Oregon offensive line. We cannot let this happen. We fail to play physical at all here. And we're playing nose over toes. We can't play nose over toes like this all the time. And because of that, that's why we only get 1 yard. So listen, Oregon, interior offensive line, I get it. You get a long break. You're getting healthy. You get a chance to watch film. But we cannot play like this against Texas Tech. They are too good up front. So I'm really excited to this is also late in the game. So I guess you could say, oh, it's late in the game. They've been playing it. It's week 13. Of course they're not going to have a lot of effort. You're going to have circumstances in the game against Texas Tech where it is late in the game, and you might need to run out the clock to secure a win. You might be in a 3rd and short. You might need to block really well on that play to move the chains. Whatever it is, you have to play fundamentally sound if you're Oregon's offensive line pretty much all game long if you want to hold back that Texas Tech dominant defensive line. Next thing we're going to talk about Texas Tech's defense is their hook curl dominance is sort of what I call it. And by that, this is how Texas Tech's defensive formation looks pretty much every single play. They have their 4 down linemen. Most of the time, you got Romello Height and David Bailey blitzing off the edge. Those 2 guys are awesome. Transfers, of course, from Stanford is David Bailey. From Georgia Tech is Romello Height. And then they have their 2 corners on the outside, 2 high safeties, and 3 linebackers, which means they play 4-3 defense pretty much consistently. And they don't play a ton of man coverage. They do sometimes have a Meg corner out there, and Meg stands for man everywhere he goes. So I think on this play, if you look at the top of your screen, that corner is in Meg coverage. But everything else is all zone coverage. And they really put a lot of pressure on their linebackers to make a lot of plays. But luckily for Texas Tech, their linebackers are dang good. And specifically Jacob Rodriguez and Ben Roberts. Those guys are animals. And we're going to see right here that this is a prime example of a zone coverage, and they're in cover three. Or I guess that they're in, you got man coverage to the top of your screen. They're probably in quarter half here. But against this type of zone coverage, the seams and the flats are really vulnerable. And that's exactly what BYU is going to attack on this play. If you watch their tight end, he's just going to run a seam route, and Ben Roberts is going to make it real tough. And I guess the safety, and I guess that wasn't Ben Roberts. But what I'm trying to say is Texas Tech's zone coverages are really good. Even though it's hard to get linebackers to cover at the rate that Texas Tech's linebackers do, they're going to make Dante Moore throw into a lot of tight windows like this. I mean, Bear Bachmeier, I love Bear Bachmeier. I do. I think he's a great quarterback. That is a tight window to throw a football into. Even though it's theoretically the right read on this play, given the coverage, Texas Tech is going to make these really difficult. So Dante Moore is going to have to be really accurate and really precise in everything that he does in this football game against this Texas Tech zone coverage. This is the Ben Roberts interception, just highlighting this. This is probably the single greatest play I've seen from a linebacker this entire college football season, other than maybe the Anthony Hill interception against Georgia. But Ben Roberts, he's number 10. He's a converted strong safety, and he came into Lubbock as a high schooler, as a strong safety. And Texas Tech over his career has put on like 30 pounds on this kid. He now plays, I guess, Sam linebacker next to Jacob Rodriguez. He's going to make a crazy play here. And again, he's in a hook curl. That's what he's in. Like Ben Roberts is 9-man coverage here. He's not in a deep zone. He's not in a flat defensive look. He is in a hook curl. And he's going to, watch, he lets the guy run by him. He's going to read the quarterback's eyes, flip his hips, and high point the football with one hand for an interception. It's crazy. I mean, this play is crazy. You can watch him the whole way through. He's at the top of your screen at the 30-yard line. Watch him. He's looking at the quarterback. He sees what's coming next to him. He flips his hips and high points the football with one hand. Are you kidding me? So if I'm Dante Moore, I'm looking at this, and I'm saying to myself, dang, I've got my work cut out for me today. When Texas Tech is in zone coverage, I'm going to have a hard time making reads because they make windows so impossible to throw into. And when I think I have a great window to throw into, it's actually just Ben Roberts being a freak athlete and making an interception. So those are two things I'm really excited to watch about this game. Can Oregon block Texas Tech's D-line, and can Dante Moore make tight throws into tight zone windows? I'm going to show you all now a lot of throws that Dante Moore made against Washington into not so tight windows, but also zone coverage. So here's I think this was the touchdown. You're gonna get actually no, this is man coverage. This is my Dante Moore glaze session. I forgot about this. Okay, so Dante Moore. A lot of people are saying he's the number one quarterback prospect for the 2026. What was I gonna say? NFL draft. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart there. And I haven't, as someone who hasn't watched a ton of Dante Moore this year, I heard that and I was like, really? Dante Moore's the number one prospect? And I now see why people say that. Dante Moore throws, in my opinion, the most consistent, the most pretty deep ball that I've seen a quarterback throw in college football this season. He is so good at throwing one-on-one streak balls to the back shoulder of his receivers. It is crazy. I watched this game against Washington, and I started calling him Divine Dante because he just makes so many unreal throws. Watch this. He's going to get, I can't even really figure out if this is man coverage or is this some weird quarters look from Washington. But whatever it is, you got one-on-one at the bottom of your screen with, I believe that's McClellan. And, it's not like he's creating that much separation, but look at this throw from Dante Moore. Oh, that is perfect. That is right in the breadbasket. That is such a tough throw to make. And he makes it beautifully. That is McClellan. Here's another example. I'm literally just going to show a bunch of examples of Dante Moore making these amazing, consistent down-the-field throws against man coverage one-on-one with his guys. Here's another one to Malik Benson. This is perfectly placed to the back shoulder. That could not be thrown better. It is only where his guy can get it. It is away from the Washington corner, and it is placed perfectly for Malik Benson to high point that football. Unfortunately, he drops the ball because he is in fact not Evan Stewart. But here's another one. This is actually a throw to the tight end, I believe, on a corner route. Just quick PSA here, by the way. I'll let the thing play first. This is a 3rd and long. Washington, for whatever reason, decides to run cover 0. leaving number 9, the tight end, one-on-one, and he's going to run a corner route here. Doesn't create that much separation, right? You're looking at that. You're saying, no, that's pretty good coverage. But unfortunately, you're playing against Dante Moore, and he's going to put this football right on the tight end's face mask for a big-time play and a first down. Dante Moore is so accurate. The best way that you can beat man coverage is just by being an amazing quarterback that can throw dimes at all time. That is Dante Moore. Don't run man coverage against Oregon is my best recommendation. Even if you can cover the hell out of these guys, Dante Moore's arm will beat you. At least that's my opinion. And that's to your blocking tight end, man. Like Oregon, a lot of people draw a lot of similarities between Oregon and Georgia and how they run their systems because of Dan Lanning, right? He's the head coach of Oregon, came from Georgia, and he runs a lot of things the same way that Kirby Smart does. And a lot of people really compare their defenses, right? They look at Oregon's defensive system and Georgia's and sort of mentality around those programs defensively, and they say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's what Dan Lanning took from Kirby Smart. And I agree with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think one of the main things that Oregon took from Georgia, that Dan Lanning took from Kirby Smart, is how to coach the heck out of tight ends. I mean, I've been talking all year about how amazing Georgia's tight ends are. Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky. They do amazing things in the run blocking game. They're great down the field as pass catching threats. So are Oregon's tight ends. This dude, number 9, I can never remember his name. He's such a good blocker. He gives effort on all plays, and they line him up as slot receiver sometimes, and he makes these plays on corner routes. And then Kenyon Sadiq, I've seen Oregon line him up at running back. I've seen him line him up at tight end, at fullback, at slot receiver. Heck, I've seen them line him up at their dominant X receiver. And I mean, there's so many ways to use that guy. That is such a powerful weapon. When you can have a guy stay on the field, dominantly run block one play, and then set up on the outside as an X receiver and make a corner look silly on the next. So I think Oregon uses their tight ends as good as almost any coach in the country. And that's just, this is another example of it. So if I'm Texas Tech, I'm watching out for the tight ends for sure. Here is just, I believe, another Dante Moore dime. Was it? Oh, yes, this is to Kenyon Sadiq, I believe, on a little slot fade. Dante Moore, just another casual, beautiful football. Sadiq, catch the football, son. You got to catch that football. But just another Dante Moore dime. If Dante Moore misses a deep throw down the sideline in the football game against Texas Tech, I will come on this show afterwards and call myself a clown. I will do it because he just doesn't miss these. Here's another absolutely perfect throw. Look how much cushion they're giving these Oregon receivers, by the way. This is man coverage again because we haven't learned our dang lesson. But, Dante Moore's just going to make a beautiful throw down the sideline on a stop and go route. Look at this throw, man. Oh, that just could not be better. That is right on his face mask. And that is just what this kid does. He is so accurate. He's so meticulously perfect on all of his downfield throws. So that is what I have on my Dante Moore support session. That is why I think Dante Moore is great. And now I'm going to talk about why I think Dante Moore sometimes is not the greatest. So, yes, I do think Dante Moore can be elite in that area of those down-the-field throws, but he also makes some decisions and he makes some plays that really make me question why people think so fondly of him. And I think this is a great example. This is going to be man coverage from Washington again. Oregon's going to get sort of like a rub release and a slant route concept working towards the middle of the field. And Dante Moore is going to feel the blitz from Washington, and he's not going to step into this throw. And this throw is going to be, unless this is another dime. No, never mind. This is another dime. This is another just beautiful deep ball from Dante Moore. I mean, that's just so well placed. I don't understand how he does it. His deep balls are so good. It's literally a divine Deontay dime. Or divine Dante dimes. They happen a lot. This is the 3rd down and 5 play. Okay, 3rd down and 6, 3rd down and 5, got confused. This is the play that Washington brings the blitz against man coverage, and he doesn't step into this throw. Watch Dante Moore. You got to step into this throw, buddy. That's why he leaves it short. It's because he doesn't get the power from his legs on that play. I'll play it again. Like, I understand that you're sensing pressure, but the best quarterbacks, and this is what Fernando Mendoza is famous for. Ty Simpson also does it a lot, too, over at Alabama. Gunnar Stockton for sure does it at Georgia. Arch Manning doesn't need to because he's a tank. But Dante Moore, you need to step into this throw. I don't care if you're taking the hit. I don't care what's happening to you. If you do that, you're going to get much more zip on this ball, and you're not going to spray it arm side. I wish you could see his footwork on this play. You can't really see it from this broadcast angle. Oh, excuse me. But Dante Moore has to step up into this throw if he wants to make it accurately. I don't think he does a great job of that consistently. That's why he misses some of these throws. This is a 3rd and 2. This is an easy throw. I don't understand how he misses this one. It's man coverage again, and they're going to leave a drag route wide open for an easy first down. And Dante Moore is going to completely throw it behind his man. Actually, this is zone coverage. But watch, 3rd and 2. Look how wide open that is. Dante, brother, that is bad. That is really bad stuff. So, yes, Dante Moore can make elite throws, and he can make great throws down the field at a very consistent rate. But when it comes to making the not so tough throws, where all you have to really do is set your feet, have good footwork, and not screw up, he ends up sometimes screwing up. This is a 2nd and 8 play. Layering okay, yeah. So this is, remember when I talked about Texas Tech's great cover 3 defense and how they play a lot of great defense in the hook curls with the linebackers. These are examples of Dante Moore layering the football perfectly, which can beat that great Texas Tech zone coverage. This is a beautiful layered football. You see how it's over the linebacker, but in front of the safety, perfectly placed in that perfect pocket of the zone. That is what is going to beat this Texas Tech cover 3 if they see it a lot, and I believe they will because Texas Tech ran it all year long. But I will say that window, you see this window that has been created in the defense. That's like what 12 yards between those two defenders. You're not going to get that simple of a window to throw into against Texas Tech. They are too good in their zone defense. You're not going to get that open of a window. So Dante Moore, you're going to have to do this exact throw into a much tighter window, and you're going to have to make sure you're not forcing anything and throwing any interceptions. But this is what they're going to need him to do if they want to throw the ball effectively against Washington. We're going to come back and we're going to see it again. This is a 4th down and 2. And Washington does something that I don't think Texas Tech is really going to do all game, and that is they're going to drop some of their defensive linemen into coverage, into hook curls. And I think that's a very bad decision against Dante Moore because he is going to do just this. Watch, they drop big 42 into pass protection, and Dante Moore is going to go right at where he is supposed to be, and he's going to have a wide open receiver against zone coverage. Now, listen, that's all fine and dandy, right? When Washington makes big time mistake in zone coverage, and you have a wide open window like that, and you make a rather wobbly but accurate enough throw to move the chains, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But you're gonna not like nothing is going to look like this against the Texas Tech defense. Like a receiver will not be that wide open in a zone coverage against Texas Tech. Their defense is too good. So I'm really excited to see how this Oregon pass game is going to work against this Texas Tech zone coverage that has dudes like Ben Roberts and dudes like Jacob Rodriguez and dudes like those safeties that make big time plays on seam routes. So I'm really excited to watch what's going to give there. I think this is going to be another great layered football by Dante Moore in the 4th quarter. Yes, so this is what won the football game for Oregon. This is a touchdown to Malik Benson. Washington's going to walk up like 8 guys to the offensive or to the line of scrimmage with a big time sim pressure, and then they're going to drop everybody back into like a deep cover 3 look. And Malik Benson is just going to be wide open in the middle of this field. See how this is cover 3? You got the middle deep zone defender, and you got 2 butts to the sideline on the outside. That's deep third, middle. And then hook curls across the board at the 40-ish yard line. And, I mean, Malik Benson's going to break open. Great job pass protection from the Oregon offensive line. Dante's going to step into this, place it perfectly to Mr. Benson, and he's just going to out-athlete this Washington defense. You're not going to see that with Texas Tech. Texas Tech's athletes are better than Washington's. So that's not going to happen. But I'm just saying, like, Dante, basically what I was trying to say with all those Dante Moore clips at the end was Dante Moore has proven that he can make big-time throws against zone coverages, but Texas Tech zone coverages are not most of the teams Oregon has faced. They are elite. So it's going to be an interesting thing to look at. Shifting back to Texas Tech's defense, I believe. This is a great look at difference between UW and Texas Tech linebackers, is what I said. Let's see what happens on this play. I'm honestly kind of curious. Oh, no, this is just great. Okay, I skipped that clip. This is fantastic. I've talked a little bit about Texas Tech's edge rushers and how good they are. Watch 31 on this play, David Bailey. This is an NFL-level pass rush. And I know he's going to be a first-round pick. He's phenomenal. But watch the bend here. This is a phenomenal bend out of this young man. Like, look at that. That is tough. That's what forces this hurried throw. You're going to get that all night. Washington does not have a pass rusher that is anywhere close to the level of David Bailey or to Romello Height. So, I mean, these guys are going to create havoc all game long. This is another play. Yeah, so watch both David Bailey and Romello Height, bottom of your screen, top of your screen, are going to create this hurried throw from Bear Bachmeyer. They're going to win with speed, and they're just gonna speed everything up and make Bear scramble for 3 yards. And as good as Dante Moore is, and he's an athletic kid, he is not going to tuck the ball like this and power his way for a 5 yard gain. That is not Dante Moore. So I'm just saying, like Oregon's also their pass protectors or their pass protections with Isaiah World at one tackle and the other dude I can never remember his name at the other tackle. They're gonna have their hands full with two of the best pass rushers in the sport in Romello Height and David Bailey coming off the edge. Another great matchup to watch for. This is a play where okay. I'm going to talk about De'Aaron Hill Jr. a little bit. I think Oregon's best playmaker, and listen, I understand the injuries. I know you got Takorian Moore back. I think they'll get Evan Stewart back. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet, but even if they do get him back, I don't know if he'll be at 100%. I think Oregon's best playmaker, by far their best running back in my opinion, and their best playmaker, is the true freshman De'Aaron Hill Jr. This is a play that Oregon's going to run that is completely designed to set up Hill with a one-on-one with a linebacker. Let me just watch it. Nobody picks up this linebacker, number 23. That is as good as you want to have this blocked, or as good as you want to have this defended. If you're a Washington Huskies fan, you got the running back one-on-one with your linebacker, who is completely free. And De'Aaron Hill Jr. is just saying, "Yeah, I'm good. I'll make that man miss. I'll get to the sideline. I'll force my way out of bounds for 7 yards." He is so dynamic one-on-one in the open field. We watched him make a ton of big plays against James Madison. Texas Tech's linebackers are gonna have to tackle really, really well when they're going up against 23. This is another beautifully designed play. I love this play design. Basically, the whole thing is with the mindset of getting De'Aaron Hill in the open field. They're gonna bring tight end in motion. They're gonna fake a handoff to I believe Jordan Davison, and they're gonna throw it to the flats to De'Aaron Hill, or they bring in McClellan in motion. And watch this. Watch what this does to the linebacker's eyes. So watch everyone, all the Washington defenders on the 40-yard line. Watch how all of their eyes go to their left. See how all of their eyes are to the left and all of their body motion is motioning that way? That's just going to leave De'Aaron Hill open. And I don't understand how this dude stays on his feet. Like, watch as he gets hit 1, 2. Now I'm on my feet, 3. I'm just going to keep fighting and get myself near first down. I love De'Aaron Hill. I think he's their best playmaker. I think you're going to see a lot in this game. Oregon trying to get him out into space. And I think that's a great idea because I think he's a baller. And Texas Tech's going to have to clue in on that and make some plays. Like they've made. Oh, wait, no. This is a bad play from Texas Tech. This is one of their linebackers has the flats assignment. Yeah, so their linebacker that's on the 29-yard line right now, because Texas Tech likes to play this type of coverage, they're going to have him covering the flats on this play. And that's fine. Like, it's okay covering the flats. But if we're covering the flats, we got to make this tackle. Like, I literally just showed a clip of De'Aaron Hill in this exact circumstance, one-on-one with a linebacker, and him completely dusting him and picking up big-time yardage. That's exactly what's going to happen here with Parker Kingston. He's going to outrun my man to the outside and nearly pick up a first down. So I think Texas Tech sometimes has some weak tackling on the outside with their linebackers going up against big-time skill position players because they put their linebackers into flats. But that being said, I mean, that's an advantage that Oregon can maybe take advantage of. Here's a first down and 10. A motion PA to get linebackers to bite. Dear, how are you? Okay, wait, hold on. This is okay. Yeah, so 14. Watch 14 on this play. Where's 14? I believe he is. Hold on, let me see. I've got this kind of confused. 14. Yeah. So the corner. He's at the 35-yard line right now. This is going to be a swing pass out to L.J. Martin to the right, and 14 clearly either watches a heck of a lot of film or BYU already ran the play in this game and he's just sniffing it out this time. 14 is just going to blow past both blockers and make a play on the running back. That is what we need if we're a Texas Tech fan. If we're hoping the Red Raiders pull this game off, if we're hoping they play a great defensive game, we need tackles like that. We need to watch a lot of film on Oregon. We need to figure out what they're running. We need to figure out when they're trying to get the ball out to De'Aaron Hill in the flats in single coverage. And when they do, we need to fly down and make plays like this with no fear and no regard for human life. Here we got a second down and 7. And we're going to talk about Texas Tech's offense now. So we talked a lot about Texas Tech's defense versus Oregon's offense, about how Oregon's going to have to block the D tackles really, really well, about how Dante Moore, he's great one-on-ones down the sideline. He's great at making those kind of throws. but can he make layered throws into Texas Tech zones coverage at a consistent rate? We talked about that, and then we talked about De'Aaron Hill and him making plays one-on-one out in the flats, and can Texas Tech limit that? Now we're going to talk about Texas Tech's offense, the things that I think they do really, really well that Oregon's going to need to focus on. First of all, Texas Tech loves attacking the flats. To their tight ends, to their running backs, to their wide receivers. They got a lot of playmakers out there. They got a lot of guys that can make plays, that can make guys miss one-on-one and turn simple screen passes into big-time explosives. And I think the main guy that they do that the most with, that is most effective at doing this, is their tight end, number 7, Terrence Carter Jr. This guy is a freak athlete. I mean, he's big, he's athletic, he can catch. I'm not going to say he's a super well-rounded tight end because he doesn't put a lot of effort in on the blocking side of things, at least in my opinion. But he is a freak with the ball in his hands in the open field. And Texas Tech is going to run this play into the ground. They run it so much. They run it ad nauseum. And it's a little tight end slip to the flat play. And Terrence Carter does this. He breaks tackles. He stays on his feet. He gets out of bounds. He gets positive yardage. Oregon needs to tackle the flats well to win this football game. Any team that goes up against Texas Tech, if you can't tackle the flats, you are going to get burnt because they do this over and over and over again. You're going to see it again. They're going to motion Terrence Carter Jr. over to the bottom of the or to the top of the screen. They're going to run both of those receivers to the top of the screen, up to draw out both of those corners, and you're going to look at Terrence Carter getting the ball in the open field again. And what does he do with it? He accelerates out of bounds to the 10-yard line because he is fast. He runs like a deer. He breaks tackles. He stays on his feet. He's a great weapon in the passing game. Terrence Carter Jr. is so good. I really love watching this dude, and I think he's Texas Tech's best weapon, at least at the tight end position. Here's another play from Terrence Carter Jr. This is a 2-point attempt after the Cameron Dickey running touchdown. They're just going to swing the ball out to Terrence Carter Jr. on this play, who is at the bottom of your screen. And look at the numbers BYU has. They practically have 3 guys out there to tackle Terrence Carter Jr. Only one of those 3 has to make a play on him, and the 2-point has failed. But instead, Terrence Carter Jr. just breaks one tackle, breaks another one, and scores. He is really, really good, especially in the open field, which means that Oregon is going to have to tackle really, really well. And I think Oregon's got a great defense. I do. I think their front 7 is great. They stop the run really well. I'm a big fan of Dylan Feineman. I'm a big fan of the dude from Hawaii on the defensive line, number 44. I forget what his last name is. It's like Tui Pelotu or something like that. That could just be the guy from Ohio State last year. I forget his name, but number 44 on the D-line is really, really good. I think they got a lot of really good young corners that make a lot of big plays. But that being said, they're not the best tackling team in the league. They're simply not. And I look at a play like this, I think we need to vice the football a little bit better. We need to leverage it. Because listen, if you leverage the football, like watch this slot corner right here. I believe that's number 4, the true freshman. Or that might be number 5, I don't remember. But if we as a secondary player, if we like turn our body to the outside and force running backs to cut the ball up the field towards the middle, that's where all our teammates are. They're going to make plays. That's called leveraging the football, playing unselfishly. If we play selfishly and we try to blow through blocks and make tackles ourselves, running backs are going to bounce it to the outside where all the grass is, and they're going to pick up big-time yardage. That's exactly what happens here. Look, if we're this corner on the outside that 50 is going to go block right now, if we force 24 back inside, that's where all of our teammates are. They're going to make these plays. But instead, we like duck under, try and work through the offensive lineman and get to the running back. And because of that, he's going to bounce it to the outside, get around us, and pick up about 15 yards. So against Texas Tech, they're going to have to vice the football better. They're going to have to leverage it. They're going to have to force things back inside and play unselfish ball. Here's a play where I believe Muhammad, the running back, is just going to break some tackles. So this is number 4. The top, I forget where he is on your screen, but number 4 is, I believe, a true freshman corner. He is really good, but he is still a true freshman corner. He still makes mistakes. And he's going to make a mistake here on this play. Watch. So they're going to swing it out one-on-one. Did I not just show you how many times Texas Tech gets the ball into the flats for one-on-one opportunities for their playmakers? That's exactly what Washington is doing right here. And if we're Oregon, we have this covered. We have this locked down. We have a hat for a hat, except our hat is a true freshman corner he is like 6'2", like 210. He's a great athlete. He's a good tackler. But on this play in the open field, he's not going to shuffle his feet, and he's going to fall down. And because of that, we're going to pick up a first down. So, again, Oregon, I know we're young. I know we're really talented. We cover really, really well. We run a lot of man coverage on third and fourth down. We do it at a really high level. But this game, the most important thing from our secondary is we got to play unselfish football, and we have to tackle the flats well. If we don't do that, Texas Tech is gonna 8-yard check down us to death. And we don't want that to happen. Here's another example on 2nd and 9. I believe Oregon's going to get an explosive run out of this. So we have 2 opportunities to make this play. I believe Washington is simply just running duo. And 28 is going to have really lazy eyes on this play. Oh, actually, no, this is not the play I'm talking about, is it? Oh, yeah, this is another missed tackle. Jade Kennedy, you've been in college football too long not to make this tackle. And I know this is petty. I mean, watch, he misses the tackle here. And I know that 7 goes down, but Texas Tech's athletes are better than Washington's. If we give that effort, if we give this lazy effort against Texas Tech, where we're falling down, we're not wrapping up, we're not shuffling our feet, and we're just kind of like grabbing space, then the Texas Tech player is going to stay on his feet, whether it's Dickey or Williams or Carter or whomever. They're going to stay on their feet and they're going to make us pay for that effort. So we need better effort when tackling the flats. That is just simply the truth. Here's the play where 28 has lazy eyes. This is Bryce Bedecker, the linebacker, the transfer from I forget where. Listen, I think this guy is a little overrated. I don't love Bedecker on Oregon. I think he has very slow eyes. And we're going to see exactly why on this play. He's going to get fooled by the play action. Look, this is a simple handoff from 28. If you see 28, he's on the 40-yard line right now. They're going to hand this ball off. Betker still thinks Williams has it. Like, dude, watch the first of all, just watch the body language of the Washington offensive line. This is clearly a run play. Why are you still keying onto the quarterback? And because of that, and because of a missed tackle by 31 or by 21, right there, that's a poor angle from the safety. Because of that, we're going to get an explosive run from Washington. And listen, Texas Tech's running backs are so much better than Washington's. Dickey and Jacoby Williams are both so good. And if we have lazy eyes against those guys, if we take bad angles as safeties, we're going to get torched by these running backs. And I think I'm going to show you why in a second. Which play is this? Is this the Cam Dickey sporadic run? Yeah, he almost falls down and still picks up the first down. I just kind of wanted to include that in there because I thought it was fun. But anyway, this was the most impressive run I've seen from a Texas Tech back in this game against BYU. This is Jacoby Williams. This is their backup. I think he's better than Cameron Dickey. I think Jacoby Williams is really, really good. And this is a crazy play from Jacoby Williams. They're working like wide zone to the right, which means that everybody's momentum, everything is working to the right. You watch the offensive linemen. They're all like slide blocking to the left. And Jacoby Williams is full on spring to the left, waiting to get, east and west, and then to put his foot in the ground and cut up field to then get behind one of the butts of his offensive lineman. But in this play, Jacoby Williams goes from fully accelerating, fully planning to go to his right, to then stopping dead in his tracks, cutting back to the left somehow. I don't understand how he does this. And then setting himself one-on-one with number 16. And yeah, good luck, number 16. You're going to get left in the dust. And then Jacoby Williams ends up picking up a bunch of yards. He does fumble the football that's picked up by Terrence Carter. But this play from Jacoby Williams, I think, is so crazy good. His ability to go from this position right here to this is nuts. And then after that, to keep his eyes downfield and completely embarrass number 16. Look at what are you reaching for, 16? Where are you going, son? And to then keep on the acceleration and pick up a lot more yards is crazy. I think Jacoby Williams is so good. There were so many reps in this game where he just looked unstoppable. And I see that. And then I go back and I watch Betker's slow eyes again. Watch Bryce Betker. He's on the 23-yard line, front side inside linebacker. These are more slow eyes. We're going to be working a swing pass. He's obviously in man coverage with the running back. And he's staring at the quarterback too long. And he gets beat to the outside. Like, we cannot have that against these really good Texas Tech running backs. They're too fast. They're too agile. They're too quick. They're going to make us look silly if we have slow eyes like that. So we can't have that happen if we're Betker in this game. This is a clip where, so Oregon is going to run a lot of man-to-man coverage in this football game, especially on 3rd and 4th down. That's sort of their thing. They run a lot of zone. They run a lot of match coverage early in the series, early in the downs. And then when it gets to third and long or even third and medium, they're going to run a lot of man coverage. But this is a crazy play, I think, from number 54 on Oregon. He's lined up in the slot right now, sort of. This is a line. This is like a 6'5", 240-pound linebacker or 250-pound linebacker. And yes, he's a great tackler. He's great at play recognition. He's great at what makes a lot of linebackers really, really good. But on this play, he's going to cover a slot fade route from a slot wide receiver. Watch, Washington is working like the Fox route where they fake the screen to 7 and work the slot receiver up the field. 54 flips his hips and is stride for stride with Denzel Boston, who is going to be like an NFL player. And yes, it's an interception by Kennedy, and he does a great job high pointing this football. But watch 54 on this play. Watch 54 sniff out the Fox screen and then go from an attacking downhill position to then getting his hands on the defender or on the receiver, flipping his hips and going stride for stride, one of the best receivers in the Big Ten, to defend this play. Like, that is as good as you're going to get from a corner, and you're getting it from a linebacker at the University of Oregon. All of their players pretty much are so well-rounded. They can all do almost anything on the defensive side of the football field. This is a great example of it. They play great defense, especially from the linebacker position. This is a different play. This is the match coverage from Oregon. This is what they run a lot of on first and second down. And basically, the most outside guy on this defense, so number 4, all the way on the right, he's going to take the most outside threat. The linebacker, I believe that's 54, is going to take whoever cuts in front of him. And then the outside safety, number 22, is responsible for anything over the top. That's how this match coverage is going to work. Actually, no, 54 blitzes. It's the safety that comes down to get that inside leverage. But watch 22 Kennedy identify 7, running a post route, and go to cover it. Damon Williams is trusting his guy. Kennedy is there stride for stride with him. And he makes the play on the football without even turning his head to break up this pass play. Listen, I talk about quarterbacks having faith in their receivers a lot, and it's really important for quarterbacks in one-on-one situations to trust their receivers. I believe Fernando Mendoza does a great job with that. Gunnar Stockton at Georgia does a great job with that. And Damon Williams is trying to do a great job with that here, trusting his guy one-on-one in man coverage, or what he sees to be man coverage. But it is really, really hard to trust your guys in one-on-one situations when the opposing team's defensive backs are making plays like that. So that's what's really impressive to me about Oregon's secondary. But they're not perfect. This is another, like I said, on third down and longs, Oregon runs a lot of man coverage. It's sort of what they do. And they're going to get burnt on this man coverage just from a simple slant route, and Damon Williams is going to sail it high. But look, I mean, this is just a simple rub release against on 3rd and 10 against man coverage. 14 is cooked, and it's a high throw. If that throw's on the money, it's a first down. So I don't know if I love, running all-out man coverage on almost every single 3rd and long. I think that you'll see in the film study later on, it does come back to bite them. But in my opinion, I would not do that. And Oregon runs a lot of man coverage, and they get bailed out a couple times in this game. This is another time they get bailed out by a batted down ball. We're going to get a wide open slant route from 13. 13's at the far left of your screen. He is wide open on this play. I mean, if Williams puts this on the money, this is full out man coverage. This could have been a touchdown. And we get lucky with the batted down football. But this is 3rd and long again. This play was on 3rd and long. So Oregon, they run a lot of man coverage on 3rd down and 4th down. It's going to come back to bite them. It does. And it comes back to bite them right here on 4th down and 8. That's the biggest play of the game for Washington up to this point. Oregon is going to be in full-out man coverage. They're a little confused about who's got who. And because of that, Washington is going to work sort of like a deep mesh concept. And it's just going to get wide open for a touchdown because Oregon kept beating the drum of man coverage on 3rd and 4th and long. So for Texas Tech, we got to come up with ways to beat this. We got to come up with ways with route combos, with switch releases, with rubs, with whatever it is, to beat the 3rd down and long man coverage of Oregon. It's not that hard to beat. We just got to be aware of it if we're Oregon. But beating man coverage means that as a quarterback, you have to play really, really good football. And in my opinion, the reason that I have said week after week that I don't think Texas Tech is going to win a national championship is because of the inconsistency of Baron Morton. I don't think he's the most consistent quarterback. I think he struggles a lot to make easier throws. This is a drag route against man coverage, and I mean, this is a near pick six from Baron Morton. I mean, BYU is clearly in man coverage. They get a drag route wide open, and Baron Morton is going to miss it high, and it nearly leads to a pick six. I do think that Baron Morton misses high way too much. And I'll show you another clip of him missing high. I mean, that's an obvious one to Jacoby Williams. You got to know our personnel. But watch the left screen. The right screen is just a replay. Watch the left screen. Baron Morton, again against man coverage, gets a slant route and sails it high. And listen, I am okay with missing low on some of these throws because a low miss doesn't mean anything. It's just an incompletion. If we keep sailing throws high against man coverage, those things can get tipped, they can get dropped, they can bounce off helmets, they can do all sorts of things that can lead to turnovers and interceptions, and Oregon is going to fully take advantage of those. So if we are Baron Morton, we have to stop missing high on throws like this, on balls like this. We have to miss, if anything, miss low because this is dangerous. This is nearly a death sentence from a quarterback. And again, Oregon's going to running a lot of man coverage. If we cannot make these throws against and slant routes and drag routes against man coverage, Oregon is going to be able to just clamp us all day long, and that is not what we want. Is that all I have? Yeah, I guess that's all I have. Okay. Well, thanks so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I just sort of wanted to make this video. Of course, Texas Tech plays Oregon in the Orange Bowl at 11 o'clock Central Time, I guess 12 o'clock local time in Miami, Florida. I'm really excited to watch it. I will give my full game pick for what I think will happen in that game later on this week. But I just sort of I like doing these film things because y'all, I mean, if you watch the channel, you always hear me talk about things, and I kind of just want to show y'all what I mean when I'm talking about some certain things. And I apologize if I sound weird. I do have the flu right now. I'm a little under the weather, or if I'm congested, so I might sound weird for that reason. But I'm really excited about this game. I think it's going to be really close, and for all the reasons that I listed, I think both these teams are really talented. I think they both bring a lot to the table, and I'm excited to see who gains the upper hand. And I think it's going to be a really fun weekend of football. And I personally am not going to talk about my opinion on the college football playoffs, my opinion on the restructuring of the sport, because I just want to talk about ball. That's what I want. I want to talk about football. I don't want to talk about the politics of college football. I want to talk about football, dang it. Can a guy not just get excited about watching some football? That's what I'm trying to do. So with that, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to be releasing all the game previews for the games soon. If you want to watch those, go for it. If you don't, that's fine. I get it. There are a lot of game previews out there. There's no need to watch mine if you don't want to. And, I hope you all have a great week. I hope you have a great rest of your holidays. Good New Year's. If you make a New Year's resolution, if that's your sort of thing, then I hope you follow through with it and you do a great job. Personally, I'm not really a big proponent of New Year's resolutions. I'm a proponent of resolutions at any time. Like, if you want to start doing something, don't wait for New Year's. Just do it now. But anyway, that being said, and New Year's resolutions are a good thing for a lot of people because I guess it helps them improve. And, I mean, you're not here to hear my take on New Year's resolutions, so I don't know why I'm talking about it. But if you take anything away from this video, it's not that New Year's resolutions are bad, or that Texas Tech's front seven is dominant, or that Dante Moore is a great quarterback, or that the Texans are going to the Super Bowl. The one thing you should take away from this video is that Jesus Christ loves you. He is your Lord and Savior. And if we have a bedrock on our lives, that is a relationship with Christ, a relationship with Jesus, our lives are going to be so smooth and they're going to be so easy. Or not easy, but I mean, they're going to be good and everything is going to make sense. I mean, in this life, we are all searching for answers. Answers to our own happiness, answers to our own salvation, answers to the afterlife, whatever it is. And I'm here to tell you that every single answer that you're looking for lies within Jesus Christ. I mean, he is our inheritance. He is our salvation. And no one or no thing could ever love us any more than he does. And, I mean, that should put a smile on your face, puts a smile on my face. I know that I am very broken as a human being. I am no better than anybody watching this. But, who is better is Jesus. And, if we have faith in Jesus, we don't have to, put as much effort into it because Jesus is helping us out. I couldn't achieve anything if it wasn't for Jesus. I would have no anything if it wasn't for what God has given me. And for that reason, I hope that each of y'all have a really blessed New Year's. I hope y'all stay safe. I hope you keep Jesus Christ in mind. You might not even be watching this, but if you are, just know that if whatever time you're in, if it's a tough time, if you're confused or whatever it is, Jesus is always there for you. I am praying for you, and I hope you pray for me. I would love that because I need prayers, that's for sure. For sure, goodness gracious. Flu, I'll blame it on the flu. And I mean, that being said, thanks so much for watching. God bless. Have a great weekend. Have a great holiday season. And I'll see y'all in the next video if you choose to watch it. So thanks, guys. Have a great night.